And Now We Live by Patty Patron, read by Laura Gietzel. In his 41 years of life, Dean had survived and endured horrors and loss. He fought for his life, that of his families, as well as the fate of the world itself. And inasmuch as he believed those events shaped him, hardened him to the shit show that was his life. None of it, nothing at all, could compare to the agony of losing Cass, to the empty. In the relatively short amount of time that Cass had been gone, Dean had acquired the bearing of a beaten man crushed under the weight of things left unsaid, of promises and declarations left unspoken. Which is why it's no surprise on this Thursday evening to find Dean staring blankly at the liquor cabinet that is tucked away discreetly in the bunker library. Red bleary eyes contemplate which bottle to choose to silence the regret. Even in this state, he knows Cass would not approve. As his fingers graze over the beveled crystal bottle of the 40-year-old Scotch, he half-heartedly chuckles at the notion that he has been living with the ghost of him, and every thought is still to please him. So lost is he in his thoughts, and he doesn't register the rumbling, the subtle shift in the atmosphere, but then the accompanying flash of light finally draws Dean's attention to the center of room. Standing there in all his rumbled and bewildered beauty is Castiel. Dean stands frozen in place, the air sucked from his lungs. He can feel his heart thumping its way out of his chest. His breathing ragged, unable to get enough air. His legs are anchored to the floor, and the only one sound other than the roar of his pulse in his ears is the whiskey glass crashing to the floor and splintering to pieces. Time stops. There's just Cass. Cass stands confused and in shock. His signature heat tilt in place. Dean, Cass murmurs in a dry, strangled voice. The sound of his name brings Dean back to the mountain, and in seconds he finds himself crossing the room in 3 long strides. I thought the effort to reach Cass proves too much. Dean sinks to his knees, buries his face in Cass' stomach, arms wraps around his waist. Fits clutch the back of his trench coat, and he sobs. Cass is stunned not merely at his return, but by Dean's actions. Cass minds words with cascading thoughts of the last 12 years. Dean loves him. The realization is overwhelming. So much wasted time. So many lost opportunities. Hesitantly, he lifts shaking fingers to cut through Dean's hair. He can hear Dean begin to murmur something over and over again. When he takes both palms to Dean's face to pull it away from his body, he understands the repeated. I love you too. I love you too. I love you too. Cass' heart filled with both love and agony. Dean's suffering is almost more than he can bear. He slides his hands down to Dean's shoulder to help him come to his feet. Cass' touch over the handprint electrifies Dean. He looks up at Cass. How are you here? I don't know, Dean. Why? Why have I returned? No, why you do it? How could you tell me you love me then leave me? How did you think I would want to live in a world that didn't have you in it? How did you think that would even be living? I had kept you alive, Dean. You're all that matters. all that has ever mattered. You're what keeps me alive. I love you, Cass. I have always loved you. Since the moment you walked through those barn doors in Pontiac, Illinois, I was yours. When I laid in hand and you're in hell, I was lost. Dean smiles for the first time and allows Cass to help him up to his feet. No face to face, they stare into each other's eyes. And as if by silent agreement, they both lean in and close the distance to share the first kiss. It's slow and tentative, at first, then deep and exploding. When they break apart, new tears are filling their eyes. What happens now, Dean? Now we live, Cass. Bite alive, just you and me.